Hey everybody, it's Christy back with another video, and finally, we have a Scrawlrbox to unbox. So we're going to get started. I am going to talk a little bit before we start about what's been going on with Scrawlrbox. So let's get to it. So Scrawlrbox has really been like a crazy journey lately. My December box didn't come at all. I contacted them at the beginning of February and they said, what's the email associated with the account? We'll send another one. And then I didn't really hear from them after that. Never got a box. Didn't get anything for January either. So around middle of February, I reached out with an email. The same day I reached out with an email, I got a December box, but turns out they did ship it, even though they didn't tell me they shipped it, the replacement. But what I found out when I got it was the December box I got was damaged. So the paint pens were like busted inside. It was gross. I'm just scrapping the December box altogether. It's fine. I no longer care. It's like the third or fourth box of paint pens we've gotten in 6 months anyhow. And I'm kind of over paint pens at the moment. So I'm fine. It's too late. I'm just moving on from it. I told Scrawlrbox as much. And then the February box, or I'm sorry, no, I have no idea about the February box. The January box showed up 2 or 3 days ago in the mail. So it just got here. I'm going to unbox it today. Everybody already knows what's in it. I already know what's in it, but I just feel like I want to at least play with the supplies. It did look like an okay box, but it's frustrating because it didn't used to be that the UK unboxers and the US unboxers were so spaced out. Like it used to be maybe a week in between. Now it's feeling like people like I am doing the January box and people in the UK are already unboxing the February box. That's crazy to me that they already have the box for the next month and I'm just getting this one. So I don't know. I am a little bit frustrated by the delays. I know that Scrawlrbox doesn't have a ton of control over some of what's going on there, but they could be shipping the boxes sooner in the month so that this wasn't happening and people were getting the box for the month within the month. So that's all been very frustrating. It's also very frustrating as a YouTuber to try to plan that out because I do try to leave a space each month for Scrawlrbox unboxings. But like in December, I had to, or in January for the December box, I just had to fill it with something, which shifts everything around and messes things up. And I feel like I had a video planned on the fly for this week because I didn't think I was going to have a Scrawlrbox and then I got it. So I'm kind of having a quick turnaround here, which isn't something I love doing. I like to be a little bit more thoughtful about how I do that. So I don't know, going forward, I know that I have paid for Scrawlrbox through a certain amount of time. I'll talk a little bit more about that after I do the artwork today. And you guys can tell me at the end of the video what you think we should do going forward, because I do like to hear what you want. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and unbox this guy and see what's inside, even though we know what's inside. And we'll play with it, and hopefully we'll have a good time. All right, so it's finally here. This is the January Scrawlrbox. I obviously already opened it because everybody already knows what's in it. If you don't know what's in it, then you've just been waiting for my video to see, which thank you, but I opened it because I wanted to make sure it was actually the January box. I got a December box that was broken. Well, you already know this, so just went over it, but so I did open it, but it is the January box. Let's go through everything in it and talk a little bit about what I think. So I'll pull it all out. Here's the zine. And here's the artwork. Okay. So taking a look here, we have this piece of artwork, which is these cool, like, little fish drawings. Looks like sardines. And the artist is maybe Zutong Wang. I'm not sure how to say that, but there is their information and their Instagram. I'm going to go follow them. Just cool. I do really like the artwork and I like the colors. And then the zine has this little like floopy scribbly design, which I like a box like that. All right, so we do get a cool sketchbook in here. I know that. This is the Seaweight Concertina sketchbook, and I'm going to open it here and show you what it looks like. It is an accordion sketchbook. And what else does it say? 38 possible working surfaces, 2 times 140 GSM of sheets. It does not say 100% cotton, so I must to assume that it is not. But yes, it goes like that. That's a really, and I like the size. It's like a cool size, and it's got this little like sleeve, so you can keep it nice, put stickers on it. I will probably do those things. Here's the stickers lately have not been from the artwork, but have been from the Scrawlrzine, which I find interesting. The Scrawler Challenge, which I'm sure is long gone by now, was dish of the day, though I will try to do something with food, I suppose, in my artwork here. And I got a black pen. These are B2P Eco Ball pens. They are made from old plastic bottles. I've used them plenty of times before. They're really nice ballpoint pens. I'm actually really glad that I got a black because I think the thing said I was going to get blue, but I'm glad I got black. And then we have Derwent Fine Art pencils. So let's take a look at these. Let's see how mine look. I don't have any of these. So these are Derwent Artist pencils, and we have the following colors: light violet, oriental blue, pale peach, gunmetal, madder carmine, and silver gray. It's interesting that we have 2 grays in this box, but that's okay. This reminds me a lot of the color palette that they gave us for the Posca pencils like a year or so ago, maybe longer. I don't remember how long ago it was that we got those Posca pencils, but this palette is like strikingly similar to that. There was a white and like a pale orange, but this is a pale peach. So yeah, other than the gray, I feel like this is a very similar color palette to what we got in that box. And then we got watercolor paper, and these are not water soluble, I don't think. No. Oh, that's right. So this is not a fine liner. I just kind of forgot. This is a blender pen. So this is an alcohol blender pen. So it's basically that you use an alcohol blender to break down the wax and kind of smooth everything out. I do that all the time. I'm actually going to compare this to my Blick Studio one that I use with my Prismacolors, and I will compare this to Prismacolor just to see how it breaks down. And then we have our little chew bar of some kind, and that is what is in this box. So I will go ahead and swatch. Maybe I'll just go ahead and swatch in a minute. Yeah, let me get organized, and then I will come back and swatch, and I will maybe talk through the swatch today because there is some things to be done during the swatch that I think you'd be interested in hearing about. So stay tuned. Okay, so here we are. I have a whole lot to say about this piece, about this box. Wow, there's a lot to unpack. So, um, let's start with the swatch. So, booklet, this booklet, it is awesome for watercolor. It is a watercolor or mixed media book, and it is a good watercolor book. It was not the right choice for these pencils. It is not good paper for these pencils. I did a whole bunch of testing here, so let me talk about all of it. This was in the booklet, and I won't even discuss this yet. When I laid them down, they felt streaky. The color payout on the lighter ones was not great on this particular color paper. Then when I went to blend, so I did a blend test with these three colors just to see what would happen. I knew they weren't like going to be like, beautiful or perfect, but I just wanted to see how we could blend them. And with the blender pen, it didn't do too bad, but the blender pen ripped the paper. Like there is paper missing from here and here. So it ripped the paper, and that's not good. I feel like if you're meant to blend on this paper, that was not going to happen. So then I started saying, okay, is it the paper or is it the supplies? Because I hadn't tested on anything else yet. So first test that I did was different paper. So I took to this is a Rembrandt sketchbook, I believe. I got it from Sketchbox at Christmas time in their holiday box, and I've been doing my little swatchy tests in it. So I did a test here. Pencils laid down way nicer here. I felt like I got more pigment payout. It was not harder to lay them down. And the blending went so much better on this paper. I went over it and over it. It did ghost just the tiniest bit. It's very hard to see, but you can see it with the blender. But it worked, and it was nice on this paper. So I thought to myself, okay, I need different paper to do my art piece on, which is what I ended up doing. So that was one thing. And so then I also wanted to test Prismacolor and see, because these pencils, I don't know. I'm glad I got to try them. They are expensive. They are worth the money. They are definitely an artist quality pencil. I have Derwent Lightfast pencils that I love. I have Derwent drawing pencils that I love. These are like the other high-end Derwent pencil that exist, and they feel really hard to me, like a Polychromos, which is fine. It's just not my preference. I prefer something a little bit easier to lay down. Now, I was able to layer really nice with them. They're good pencils. They're just not for me. So I just wanted to see how the Prismacolor would act on here. And as expected, Prismacolor was more pigmented, but then you can see that like this paper has a lot of tooth. So laying down Prismacolor was leaving a lot of space. It did blend nicely, but again, the blender pen just tore everything up. All right, I did try blending with my Blick Studio colorless blender because I wanted to see, because this is not a supply that's terribly available to me currently in the US. So I wanted to see what would happen if I blended with this. And it was pretty much the same. These are pretty much the same. This one just has like a bullet type tip. And like the fact that it's colored, that's just what happens when you use colored pencil with a colorless blender. Like this one has color on it, and this one also has color on it. It's just what happens. But so that's not a big deal. But I definitely felt like I can't get this easily in the US at a good price. So I wanted to see what would happen with this. And it did the same thing. This didn't rip the paper as much just because I used the brush tip, but this paper was not meant for this. The pen is fine. It was a pen. I didn't use it for the art piece, but I will use it. I love these pens. They are good quality pens. And for people that wanted a liner option in this box, this was a fine value add. So next, then I went ahead and got out my Daler-Rowney Aquafine paints and just played, because I was like, I want to see if this paper is actually good for wet media. If it is, then the sketchbook is a slam dunk because it's a cool sketchbook. Worked great. This is Daler-Rowney Aquafine paints, And I just sat down and played with them, and it painted beautifully. I was able to go back in and do some layering. I did some blending. It is not 100% cotton paper, but for the purpose of like taking it on the go and doing a little plein air, like sketchbook kind of thing, especially because it comes with this beautiful sleeve. This is an amazing sketchbook. I just don't know why they gave it to me with these supplies. These supplies do not match the sketchbook. I am going to, and I decided I wasn't going to do my art piece in here because I am going to save the sketchbook. I think it would be amazing for either watercolor or gouache on the go. I think this might be a really fun sketchbook to do a gouache pieces in and just have them be next to each other like that. So I'm definitely going to use it. It's just not going to be with this project. And then what else can I tell you about the swatching? Okay, now let's talk about the art piece. So then the other thing that I just think is crazy is that the prompt for this month was dish of the day. So like, to me, that indicates food. And I'm sorry, but like, why would that be your prompt when these are the colors that you gave me? What food exists that's this color? So the only thing I could think of, and it's a very American thing to think, is of a snow cone where, they pour the red and the blue at like, 4th of July time. And then usually they try to leave some white, but it never really happens. And then you just get this muddy purple in the middle. I was like, well, that is what these colors are. So that's what I'm going to do. So my piece turned out cute. I think I got a lot of good detail. I did go in with a Posca pen and just give a little bit of white highlight in there just to bring it back a little bit. You can see there's just a little bit of white, but I think it does add to the piece. So I did do that, but other than that, it was fine. So I don't want to say I'm frustrated by this box because the supplies are quality, and I'm glad, like, the point of an art subscription box is to test things I don't have. I don't have these. I'm glad I got to test them. They were worth the money, so I'm going to show you the price comparisons in a minute here. And it is a cool technique to use blenders, alcohol marker blenders with colored pencil. I do that a lot when I work in colored pencil. So that's something that I was like totally familiar with and loved the idea of a box centered around that. I just wish they'd given us better paper. So this is manga paper that I got from Sketchbox, and it actually was great for this project. So the actual making of the art piece and the using of the products and everything, it was good. It was good. I don't want to come off like, oh, I had a bad time. I didn't. I had a good time. I think I'm a little miffed with Sketchbox right now, or Sketchbox, not Sketchbox, with Scrawlrbox right now because this box came so late. I already knew what was in it. I didn't get the December box. Then when I did, it was damaged. And I just feel like with all of that, I expect when I do get it that I'm going to get a well-curated box. And this paper does not go with these pencils. They are both good supplies on their own. If I had gotten watercolors with this sketchbook or gouache with this sketchbook, I would have been 10 out of 10. And if I had gotten some paper that was appropriate to work with, anything that is like this, smoother and more able to take an alcohol marker and not just pill up, because watercolor or wet media paper is most likely going to do that. The only one I know that can take it pretty well is the Stillman and Burn mixed media paper, and even that has a limit. Like even that you can't just go crazy on it. So let's talk about prices. Sorry, I talked a lot in this video. So I paid $28.87 for this box. It would be a little bit more if I bought it right now, but when I bought it in November, that was the conversion rate. So that's what I paid. The products were pretty well priced. So this is how much they said the pencils would be. This is what I could get them for at Blick for a set of 6. It wouldn't be this 6 either, but like the set of 6 at Blick is arguably better curated. A Pilot ball pen, $1.64. I get it for $1.79, so that's the same. The blending pen is $7.27. I can't really get it here. I can get a set of 2 for $7.69, but I think that this is a comparable product. I think that if you were looking to do something like this and you have a colorless alcohol blender, this one is $4.15 at Blick. So that's the price I did use, and I did use this, but it's the same thing. And that one has a brush nib, so I would say go for that. This sketchbook I could get for $9.92. Again, sea white isn't something I can typically get easily in the US, So it was cool to try it. So all things considered, this is a good value for this box. It's over $30. That's kind of my litmus test when it comes to Sketchbox or I keep saying Scrawlrbox. So when it's Scrawlrbox, I try to be over $30. They were barely over 30 here. We did get artist quality materials. Like I said, I just don't think this was a terribly well curated box. I don't think that the prompt matched the color palette whatsoever. And so there's highs and lows here. I don't know, guys. Tell me what you think. I'm getting Scrawler boxes through May because I had Scrawler points and I used them all to make these boxes super cheap for myself. So I did that, and each box is going to be like a really good value because I didn't pay as much for it because I had a bunch of points. But I don't know after May if I'm going to keep going with Scrawlrbox. Do you enjoy these unboxings? Do you enjoy what I have to say about them? If so, I might continue. I'm just really frustrated with all of the delays and all of the crazy stuff. But Scrawlrbox has been the one that I've stuck with forever. And so I feel bad getting rid of it. But at the same time, I just don't know if I'm enjoying them like I once did. So let me know. A lot of what I do is driven by what you say in the comments. So tell me what you think, as always, in the comments below. And that's going to be it for me today. I hope this inspires you to get out pencils you haven't played with in a while and maybe give this technique a try. And we will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.